Here's an AMI This Week shortcut with Alex Smyth.
I think it's a type of energy calculation that non-disabled people will never understand.
Conversational, insightful, and sometimes really unfiltered.
You're getting your own hot tub that you can just use whatever the you want.
Yeah, because I got a house, and so a house needs a hot tub.
That's how I would describe the new podcast, Crip Times, a joint project between Bodies in Translation and Tangled Art Plus Disability. I'm so excited to be able to chat with the co-hosts of the podcast, Kayla Best, Christina McMullen, and Yusuf Kadora. Kayla, I'll start with you. What is Crip Times?
Yeah, Crip Times was a product of the pandemic, like I think so many artistic projects are during this time. But it's a conversational space that prioritizes disability-identified artists working in all different mediums and just gives them a casual space to hang out and share how they're hanging in there. You know, we normally have so many events and gallery exhibitions and things in person, and of course those all shut down. So we thought, okay, how can we meaningfully still create this Crip space and replicate the in-person experience in a way that's really meaningful and giving people something that they can engage with meaningfully from home.
Yeah, that's so critical. Now, Yusuf, your guests have a bit more collaboration and creative freedom on this podcast than they would on other ones. Can you tell me a bit about that?
We didn't want to come at it as from the perspective of we are the content creators and we're going to come in and just throw a bunch of questions at you. We approached it from a way of saying, hey, we would like you to be involved in this episode. And we've made actually each interviewee producer on the episode, which is kind of why there's such a range of style in each one.
Why is it important to approach it that way?
There were two reasons for that. The first is that we really wanted to establish with the artists that they have agency in terms of how we're going to shape the content and the form of the episode. We really wanted to give them that power as opposed to a host and interviewee dynamic. The second reason is that it's a very hard time for artists right now. And we didn't want to approach this so much in a journalistic way as in terms of more of a content and creation sort of way. And because we were able to go from it at that angle, with the little bit of funding we had, it allowed us to actually pay the artists for their time and their labor, which is really important, especially when you're working with disabled artists.
Now, I know another way you're supporting the community, Christina, is by the fact that you're ensuring that all the podcasts are accessible. Can you tell me a bit more?
Yeah, and that was something I don't even think we had to have a conversation about it. It was a podcast with transcripts. It just been so ingrained in the work that Kayla and Yusuf and I do that it just always, the two went hand in hand. And then when we were kind of talking about the ways that we best enjoy podcasts, I always said I hate listening to a podcast and they mention something and then I have to be the one to go Google that thing. You told me about it, please continue to tell me about it. So yeah, for each of our episodes, we created a plain language overview, as well as links to things that are mentioned in the episodes. We also pulled our favorite quotes, so things that we felt resonated with us or we felt would resonate with our communities. Again, so if folks are what did so-and-so say? I don't want to read the whole transcript.
You were like, do people say can I pray for you? And I was like, that hasn't happened to me. And then the very next day I was walking down the street and this woman was like, God bless, tries to touch you. And it's please stop.
And then we had all of the transcripts. And those were made available at the same time as our podcast episode. We got more folks who are creating in isolation or creating in a silo to feel a sense of community, even if it's just them sitting alone listening to a podcast. We hope that more folks listening at home, whether part of the Crip community or not, are inspired to kind of like have conversations about their work in ways that are comfortable, safe, and politically necessary.
And if you at home want to enjoy the conversations for yourself, you can find out more info by visiting bodiesintranslation.ca.